Billy has been throwing out all sorts of comments about Nebraska having trouble winning 5 or 6 this year and who they're going to lose to. And here he says, this is what's great about college football. All fans think their team is going to be better than they are. What makes anyone think Frost has all of a sudden become a good coach, loses all the close games?
Yeah, you got to start winning them. That's plain and simple. We talked about some of the issues that they've been addressing, and this is going to be a whole new experience for Scott Frost. He's used to having that play sheet in his hand and worrying about, calling all the plays and everything, and now he can worry about other things that he didn't ever have time to do in the past. So, any successful coach, you look at him, it's the guys around him that make them successful. You surround yourself with talented coaches, and you're going to look pretty good. So, I like the changes they've made, and with the change in attitude that I keep noticing around there, I think that there's a winning attitude that these new assistant coaches have brought in, and as well as the transfers that they got out of the transfer portal that have already played a lot of college football.
Hey, Jack. Good to see you. Which conference is going to make the next expansion move? Well, if we've started a trend here, the SEC made its move last summer. The Big Ten counterpunched.
And the SEC said what yesterday? The commissioner said that they're in no hurry.
They're in no hurry. Yeah, they're not going to do anything unless it really makes sense for them. But I don't take too much out of that. I think he's just trying to talk from a position of strength to basically say, hey, our conference is great. We don't need more. But he left the door open to say, we're always listening. We're always considering.
The biggest problem is that now you've got a lot of teams trying to scramble and get out of conferences as well. The ACC, obviously, Clemson wants out of there. Miami wants out of there. Florida State wants out of there. So otherwise they're stuck in a very low-paying television contract, which the difference between the SEC and the Big Ten is astronomical for those television rights. So, I don't know. Do they force the SEC to pull the trigger faster than they want to? It's hard to say. And everybody knows who the wild card in all this is Notre Dame. How long do you wait around for Notre Dame? How long can Notre Dame afford to keep claiming to be independent as well? So there's so many factors that go into that right now. We have to see how it all shakes out, obviously.
There you have it. I'm not going to get into that tonight. I've got enough content out there talking about what could happen, what might happen, what are the guesses.
Nick Saban's been talking about it all day, so.
Yeah. It's anybody's guess. If anyone tells you, the only thing I can tell you for sure, anybody out there that if anybody tells you they know what's going to happen, they're lying to you. They don't know.
Yeah, they don't. They don't. It's just unfortunate. I mean, how Nick Saban even said it earlier is, the haves and the have-nots. And it is unfortunate that what's going to happen to some of these, not so big programs that won't be able to compete without having the revenues that all these bigger programs bring in.
Sam, I really don't know why you're applauding Notre Dame for holding pat, but that's your business. I would like to see Notre Dame join a conference. I don't blame them. They can do whatever they want as long as they're being allowed to do whatever they want. but I don't agree with it myself.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it too. That these TV deals are being negotiated, and the Big Ten just adds the Los Angeles market to their TV deal, which a lot of that is owned by Fox, and so Fox has got to be happier in a clam, just gaining all those TVs in their Big Ten package now, and so these schools are going to be making over $100 million a year off of TV rights, and can Notre Dame afford not to be doing that? Is that fair to their recruits? And if they can't provide the upgraded facilities and stuff like all these other schools are doing, because they're making a ton of money for being in a conference. And it's just, it's strange. I don't know how long they can hold out.
Yeah, well, there was some news out in the last 24 hours about Notre Dame putting something together with the Big 12. Not that they would join the conference, but maybe something close to what they're doing with the ACC, and they would put together a package of games, and they were looking for $75 million a year from their NBC contract. And I didn't look into it yet, but so they are seriously considering what they need to do to stay independent and how much money they need to make. And they're probably, it sounds like from that they're okay with a gap of, let's say they're making 75 million and everybody in the Big Ten's making 100 million. They're okay with that, but they can't be making
that 100's on the low side, though. It could be upwards around 125 million.
Okay.
We don't know exactly what it's going to be, but obviously adding USC and UCLA just bumped the price up quite a bit.
But maybe being okay with that kind of deficit, but not being okay with, they're making like $15 or $20 million a year right now.
Oh, yeah.
They're way down there and not being able to sustain anything there.
Going to be fun to see how it all shakes out.
All right, this is my alter ego speaking here, Sleepy Mark, as Notre Dame creating its own conference with all the independents in Stanford. Well, count up the independents. They don't exist. Who are they going to grab? UMass? That's like the end of the... I think UMass and New Mexico State are the only independents with Notre Dame.
Wow.
That's not going to do much for them.